to my video, but it's your girl Alethea, and this is live, and it is what it is. Whew, I was struggling, y'all, with this YouTube thing. So y'all want to know how I do YouTube and how to set it up. I don't know if I'm the girl to ask. I'm for real. All right, so let my folks know I'm out here in these internet streets back on YouTube. All right. All right, thank you. All right, thank y'all for coming. I see one person in. Thank you so much. All right, so going in, I'm going to try to tune this way. Hey, Addie. All right, so, hey, Wanda Good. Y'all apologize for coming in late. I don't know what YouTube just did, or maybe it was me. Maybe it was user error. But I posted the video. It posted, my screen just changed on its own, like the orientation, and locked itself and wouldn't let me turn it around. And so I had to end that video. So if you saw me come in and started, then you didn't see me, that's what happened. Had to try to start it over again. But then, I don't know. Maybe I'm moving too fast. But I couldn't even add my picture to it. So, whew, I don't know if y'all want me telling y'all how to run no YouTube channel. It's a lot. But anyway, I'm glad y'all back. For those of you that don't know, I am going to be working on this cardigan by Mimi G, 8177. It's one of her original patterns. I'm not sure if she was even the VP of the design. Is it Design Studio? It's Design something with the Simplicity group. The design group, I think, was Simplicity. But nonetheless, I love this look still. I'm going to ignore the silliness. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be doing. I still like this pattern. I love the look. I love the wide leg pants on this, the full leg pants. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if we're doing skinny pants. I don't care if we're doing crop pants. I don't care what we're doing. I love a full leg pant. So I love this look. And when I saw this fabric, I was going to use it for something else. And I think I told you that. But I decided I wanted to use it for this. So I'm excited about it. I have 4 yards of this fabric. It's a knit. Give me just a second. I may have to go get my earbuds. But I want to put some light on the subject. So hang on one second. Make sure I'm giving you all some adequate light. All right, and then I'm going to go grab my earbuds. I'll be right back. Hey, Nina, how art thou? I think something's going on with that earbud. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so that pattern is lovely. 8177. I did the cardigan and the pants, and they came out lovely. I did that in 2018. Yeah, it is a pretty old pattern. But it is a staple, right? So this is something that you'll keep in your wardrobe. But I am glad you are here, DR. What hat do you want? What hat are we talking about? Just cutting that up a little bit. All right, so I showed this to you all the other night that I was planning on doing this pattern, but I was thinking about doing this as a sleeve. Yeah, I'm second guessing it now because I don't want this to be I like different, but at the same time, I want to be able to use it for multiple occasions, or do I really? You know, these are the struggles that I have, and I don't know if anybody else had these kind of struggles where you're trying to decide, how am I going to facilitate this project? Do I really want to do it the way I'm thinking? Am I the only one that second guess? We had this conversation the other night. However, I did find this. Remember, this was one of the straps that I purchased, and I think Lysandra did this also for her bag, for her Chandler fanny pack. So since I'm not using it for the Chandler fanny pack that I did, I just this just happened to bump up against each other, right? And I was like, oh my God, that looks nice together. It's the same color, same black and blue. I mean, the black and beige, or black and cream. So I could actually use this as a belt to my cardigan. Of course, I need to get more of it. And I still would make me probably a fanny pack to match. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, y'all. You have that problem too, Nina? You do it all the time? All right, so here's the other dilemma with this pattern. And so this is why I haven't started yet. I know I am going to make this cardigan. What I do with the sleeves, I'm not sure yet. But it is a set-in sleeve, so that's why I'm focusing on this right now. I'm going to put this aside. This is actually a skirt that I want to repurpose. So I wonder, do I really want to cut this skirt up? I mean, because it is a fashionable skirt. I can do something else with it. I could literally wear that cardigan over this skirt and it still look nice, like with some booties, leather booties, some hosiery that has some texture to it, and maybe a turtleneck sweater, and wear this and still rock it. So do I really want to cut this up? No, I don't know. Maybe I can restyle it some other way, right? So I'm on the fence about that. But here's the dilemma. I didn't realize this. I used this pattern for another client of mine, but I did not realize it was not my size. And like other patterns, I have like 10, I'm not 10, but I have maybe 3 of other patterns. I just knew I would have another pattern in my size. I looked everywhere that I have patterns stashed. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 resources of patterns. No, 16. I have 16 bags of patterns, bins of patterns that I can pull from. That's why I said in the last video, I have no desire to go pattern shopping. Not to mention the PDFs that I have, y'all. So how many PDF patterns do you all have? I would like to know how many patterns, not even just the number of patterns itself, but how many bins of patterns do you think that you have? And I'm not even talking about what's in storage, y'all. I have bins in storage. Hey, Miss Kimmy, how art thou? You watching Sneaking In? Thank you so much for sneaking in. Don't get caught now. All right, so going back to the dilemma that I have. I do not have this pattern because I looked everywhere. This pattern is much bigger than me, but I feel like I can make it work, and I am. I'm just going to use big seam allowances and pray for the best. All right. So I usually cut a 16 out, a 16, anywhere from a 14 in the tops to maybe a 22 in the hip area. With the cardigan, I probably wouldn't do that much. Probably would have did like a straight 16, maybe an 18. This pattern is a size 20. Okay. So, well, the smallest size. This pattern ranges from 20 to 28. All right. So, obviously, I'm going to cut the 20 out and I'll work with it. And I'm just going to use bigger seam allowances. So, if you didn't know, for those that are on here may not know, there's only like a ½ inch seam allowance between the different sizes. So, for each ½ inch of a seam allowance that you take is 2 inches, take or give, it adds 2 inches to your garments just in the side seams alone. So if you think about it, you have 4 seams total. You have a seam in the front on the right, a seam in the back, a seam in the front on the left, and a seam in the back. That's 4 seams. So 4 times 50 is 200, right? Or 2.0. That's 2 inches. So there's usually a 2-inch difference between the sizes. So if I can take out 2 inch, maybe an inch, that's two different sizes. So I could size down easily just by taking up an additional inch seam allowance. I can take this cardigan down to a size 16. All right. So it's not so bad. It's not undo. It's not undoable. Is that the right word? Nina says, thank you, because I was glad you came up with that, because I do not want to buy no more patterns. All these patterns I got, I haven't did, and I want to start doing it. Yeah, so hang on to that thought, Nina, because I want to talk about that. Wanda says, I have over 700 paper patterns and maybe 40 to 50 PDF patterns. Oh my God, that's 40 to 50 PDF patterns. Now, do you use that system to track your patterns? There's a Trello, or something. How do you store your patterns and keep track of what you have? Kim says, I have so many patterns, I will never use all of them. I could open up. I would never use them all. I could open up a pattern. Yeah, you could open up a pattern store. Yeah, same here, Kim. Same here. Nina says, when I did that pattern, I did it in a size 18. The sleeves was tight. I did it again, and I didn't do a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Okay. So do you normally do, is that the normal size that you do at 18 and you felt the sleeves were tight? And what type of fabric did you use, Nina? Because I'm using a stretch knit. I am using it's like a plissé knit. Plissé is a fabric. All I can say, the best way I can describe it is a bubble, like a bubble to the fabric, like a bubble weave. I don't know if you can see that. See how it just kind of bubbles out right there? That's like a plissé. But it's a knit. You can see it's got good stretch. It's a 4-way stretch. So I'm not really worried about the sleeves not fitting, and I don't want it to be too big either. I want it to be a nice fitting cardigan. So I probably could literally do like a 14 in the bodice top area, and then do like a 16. I would probably do the 18. So I'm thinking I'm going to size down about an inch. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to size down about an inch. So I'm going to cut the 20 out. But here's the other thing. Remember I showed you the other night, the last video, that I did the red. I'm working on the red jacket where we did the set-in sleeve. Showed you how to do that. But I am going to finish that jacket in the last week, in week 4, when we do the notch collars. But you can see I showed you in the back where there's a lot of pucker in the back in that jacket. Now that's a stable, that was a woven fabric. That was like a twill or khaki type fabric. So it was bunching. So that's my issue with most things that I make, that I have a short waist or sway back. And so some people refer to it as a tootie booty. So I don't know if you can see it, like when I stand, I'm not straight like that. You know, that's I guess, I don't know if you call that normal. I don't know if you call that normal, but this is how I stand. So I have a sway back, or S curve, whatever you call it. So that means that where it would be straight, the fabric is going to pool. See, right there, it's going to pool. So in order for me to make it smoother and neater back there, I've got to take out that excess. And so I'm going to take out about 2 inches just in the center back part and taper back into the seam. Wanda says, my patterns are in open boxes by manufacturers, Simplicity McCalls, etc. The PDF patterns are in a notebook with pictures. Okay. You use a ponte knit. Okay, so ponte knits usually probably don't have as much stretch. It might be a 2-way stretch. It doesn't have as much stretch in one direction than it does the other. So, all right. So what I'm going to do here, I don't know, can y'all see that okay? I don't have the camera's not overhead, so I hope you can kind of see what I'm doing. But this is the back piece of the pattern here. So I'm working with the View B, I'm working with View D. View D is the cardigan in this pattern. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm working with View D. There's a top There's a the pair of pants. I love the pair of pants. I haven't made them yet. I like those. They're loose fitting. I'll probably make those at some point too. I do have some black fabric here um, that I could really make this out of, and I may just do that. Um, then I have, then there's the cardigan, of course. Yeah, so use, okay. So, anyway, so I'm using piece 14 for the back. I have piece 13 for the front, and it does have a dart in it. All right, so this could be a precursor to next week's dart. Just about everything has a dart in it, but setting the darts in the right place, what to look for in the darts. Now, you probably heard me talk about darts many times and how to use them to shape and stuff like that, so we'll talk about that more. And then I have the sleeve. Then there's also the band, I believe. Yeah, this is the front band to this jacket. All right, and yeah. So I think there's also a facing and a neckband. So yeah, there's the facing to this, and then there's the back facing. So what I may do, instead of doing the back facing like that, I may just do a bias binding in the back, because this jacket is not going to be lined. I'm not going to line it, but I may line the front piece. So I may just cut two of these and let it face itself, and then go from there. But the binding, I'll probably just bind it around the neck edge and just stitch it down, so it'll be a nice clean finish. All right, I don't know if anybody could block this. I mean, I'm sure the more comments, the better, but I can't block them all. Let's see. All right. I don't know what that was all about. Folks come in here and try to hijack your live, but that's what happens, I guess. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is put these other pieces aside. Put my cute little iron right there. And I am going to mark what I need to shorten. See if I can find my Sharpie. All right. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, I know that this back, most back pieces are cut on the fold, but this one is not, so I'm thankful for that. I noticed on her other jacket, she didn't cut on the fold as well, and I like that because then I can maneuver the shaping a little. I can shape a little bit better when there's when it's cut on the fold. It's hard to shape it unless you're using darts, which is fine, but this is cut on a seam. So I could take that seam in, and if I need to, like, this is the center back right here. So if I need to curve this in a little bit, which will shape me a little bit better, that helps too. So it'll conform to my body a little bit better. But for now, I'm going to take about 2 inches up from the waist, and here is the cut line. So I don't know if you can see that, and I hope I didn't block you all out from comments. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, if you can still hear me and you're okay, let me know. All right, so I'm going to take about 2 inches out, raise this up about 2 inches, Probably didn't need to, but about 1.5 inches. But I am going to go ahead because this fabric, you know anything about knit. This one is not so bad because it's more of a stable knit, but you do have some knits that are slinky and they'll grow. All right, so I'm going to start with this. Actually, let me just do about 1.5 inches. Let me take about 1.5 inches, and I'm using the cut line to do it. So I'm not going to take, I don't know if you saw that line that I just drew right here. All right, I know it's kind of hard to see. You can hear? All right, good. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm not trying to take the side seam in, I want the side seam to stay so it'll match up with the front side seam. So I'm going to angle this. All right, so I'm going to do a slash and slide method. Okay. So I am going to slash. I'm not going to go all the way through the end on the side, but I am going to slash the pattern at that lengthening and shortening line. Okay. Do a little bit more. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this, but what it does is it causes the back to sway in. Can you see here where it looks straighter now? But as I shorten that by 2 inches, do you see what it does here? It kind of curves in now and gives that a little curvature. So I need that there, but guess what? I still need to fix it at the bottom because now that I've taken this up here, it's going to make the bottom angle up like that because I've taken it up and make it look like I have a tootie booty. Now, the thing is, if I didn't do this, if this was fitted, it's going to do that anyway. My butt is going to jack up the back and it's going to make the back angle like that. So now I need to take the same amount because I need to shorten this here. I need to take that same amount and lengthen it at the bottom. That makes sense. You can hear, okay, good. I blocked them from my end. See if it was for all of us. Okay, good. Thanks, Wanda. Yeah, they come in just doing stuff. All right. All right. So now what I'm going to do here, I am going to take this hemline. I'm just doing a parallel to one of the straight lines, the hem at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing that I just did up front. I'm going to bring this down 2 inches. So I'm not going to do it 2 inches straight across because I didn't have to lengthen it on the side seam. I just had to lengthen back here. So what I'm doing is I'm shortening it because I know some of you might say, well, what sense does that make? Why don't you just leave it? Because I needed to shorten it above the waist. So I'm shortening it above the waist so that it wouldn't pull back here when it sits on my hip. So I'm bringing that up. And now that I'm bringing that up, I'm just going to now lengthen it below the butt so that it'll fall right at the hem like it's supposed to. So I hope that makes sense. So what I'm doing is I'm going to align my grain line on my pattern on my board here. I can see where the grain line is. I'm going to go ahead and place something here to hold that in place so that it's not moving. All right, and then there's a line here. I'm just going to take and mark 2 inches from one of these lines and just lengthen it here. Actually, let me just draw a line straight across. All right, I'm just going to draw this line straight across. There is a kick pleat back here in the back. I don't think that I'm going to use that kick pleat, so it's going to be all good. So from that line, that straight line, I'm going to measure out to the same 1.5 inches that I did from the top. And then I'm going to draw a line to the edge over there so I can make sure that this is meeting up. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I want to do at all. I'm going to cut along this line and I'm going to drop it about 2 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull this down. I've got this lined up with my green line. I'm going to pull this down to one of the straight lines so that when I slash this and move it the 1.5 inches, which is about right here, then I'm going to slide a piece of fabric tissue paper in between. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and slash this. That been slashed too even. Slash this all the way to the end, but not quite going through the end. If you happen to go through the end, it's okay. Just tape it back together, which I just did. Spoke too soon. Just take a piece of tape and tape it back. And start all over. Fortify that. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to clip that so I won't make the same mistake. All right, there we go. You understand the process? Okay, awesome. All right, so this is what I'm doing. I marked my 1.5 inch mark there. I'm going to put something here to hold this down. And I'm going to put something here to hold this in there. All right, so it may look weird at the bottom. It might look like that it's angled at the bottom. That's because you have to remember your butt is going to take that up. Now, I may not have to have done that, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay because my butt's going to jack that up a little bit. So that should be fine. All right, if for some reason it don't, that's why you try everything on and you measure and you see how it's hanging, okay? But when it's all said and done, it'll look funny on paper, but when it's on your body, because your body is taking up the space that it needs, like I've jacked it up and angled it so it's going to come up to here and it's going to shorten here, but now it's got to get over my hip. And so now it needs to lengthen that back again at the bottom. So it might look like it's angled on paper, but when it gets on your body and you wear it, it's going to look even all the way around. It's just like if you take a skirt and measure it, your skirt look like it might dip in the back when it's hanging on the hanger, but when it's on you, it's even all the way around. So this is the same effect that this is going to have. All right, so let me grab some paper and put in between. Actually, let me do some strips here. Just taking a pen and pushing that through so I can tape that. All right. This is the longest part probably of making this pattern, because Nina will probably tell you it's a really simple, easy, quick pattern to make. It's not a whole lot to it. But the measuring and the altering part is what takes the longest most times when you're making something. I know every time when I first cut something out and I look at it, I'm like, oh, this look funny. That don't look right. But it ends up being right. Okay. All right, now on the other side, you can true it up on the other side if you need to. Like the side seam, it kind of angles out. Show you what that looks like. Let me get the excess pattern off. All right, so all of this that you can true up and make it straight because you want it to be straight. You don't want it to have a curve in it. You don't need the curve. And then right here on this side, so I don't know if you can see how it kind of curves out like that. You want to go in and true that up as well. All right, so I am going to use my ruler. Like I said, I'm not going to do that kick pleat. I don't find it necessary for me if I don't want it. Now, am I the only? Oh, here it is. I was going to say, am I the only one that lose stuff? So I'm lining this up with the line the line that's already here, the cut line, and I'm just gonna move this all the way down. Don't need to get off like that. Stand still. Okay, and you're gonna also want to true up this line right here. Let's do it this way. I'll keep that line straight. Okay. All right, so let me show you what I did real quick. So that way everything can pretty much stay in line. All right, because when you start changing lines, it starts changing everything. Got my fan on. All right, so this is what I did here. All right, let me start up here. All right, so I shortened here. This is shortening this above the waist. So even though I pulled up at the bottom area, this pulls up, it's actually taking away fabric from the waist. So everything up under this line is everything that was above the line, if that makes sense. So I took out about 1.5 inches from here. All right, so even though I took out 1.5 inches from here, that's distorting the line at the bottom. So now it made this go up like this, but I need this to come back down to be more even, or to accommodate for my butt that hikes it up. All right, So see how this, even this top right here, see how it goes from here and goes up? Well, once I lengthen that and drop this down, because this up here is taking up this fabric that should be here. And so now I have to go in and recut that so it'll fall flat, fall straight. So that's what I did here. So whatever is taken up here, I'm bringing it back down here at the bottom. But that also misaligns everything here. So with this line right here, that's what I did, is recut this and then recut the side seams here to make that straight. So that should be straight. All right, because if you don't recut that and realign that, there's going to be like a little flange or a little piece that sticks out in the front. It'll be almost like it don't lay flat right there. So again, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Actually, I should have did, that was the size 28. I need to do this on the size 20 on this seam right here. And I'm going to need to bring this up just a little bit. So all I'm doing is just drawing that straight line all the way down to the hem. Okay. And I may have to slash this a little bit to bring that close, because it's about a 1/4 inch difference right there. That what's going to happen is if I don't true that up and make that straight, the back piece is going to be a 1/4 inch difference at the hem, which is not too bad. I can fix that. I can make that work. So I may just leave that alone. But to show you what I'm talking about right here, I brought the, I slashed it to the very end before cutting off the size 20. And so that that left out a little bit of space right there when I cut out the 20. I'm not going to worry about that, but if you're cutting it, just make sure you make the side, make sure you're cutting out the sides first and then make all of your adjustments. All right, so I probably may not use this pattern again for my client, but if I do, I'll just go get it again. Hoping that, do I want to cut this out? No, I'll leave it. I'll just cut around it. I'm just going to cut out the straight 20, and everything else that I need to adjust, I'll just adjust it on the pattern. All right, so, but I do want to make sure I measure across the back, because I don't want that to be too big across the shoulder. So I am going to measure that to see where I am with that. Usually I think I'm about, is it 16 or 17? Might be 15. Let me see what am I? All right, so I'm measuring from, like, I call it like the flange or the chicken joint right there where your arms bend and fold. You want to measure, because that's where your side, that's where your shoulder seams generally are. Now we saw on this pattern, she designed the shoulder seams to fall off the shoulder a little bit. At least that's what it looked like on this pattern. Looks like it falls off the shoulder a little bit. On this pattern, by the line drawing, it looks like it's right on the shoulder. You see that? So I am, according to this, about 15 inches shoulder to shoulder. You guys, are you still with me? All right. So I'm going to take out the seam allowance on this pattern. Because I want to mark from seam allowance to see how much room, what the space is that's left once I sew it. All right, so it's actually 17. Once I sew this up, the space between what's left between the seam allowances is actually 17, a little more than 17, maybe about 17¼ inches across the shoulder. So that means it's 2 inches, about 2 inches too wide. So that means I need to take out about 2 inches of width across here if I want it right at the shoulder. Now it's a duster. It's okay if it's off the shoulder a little bit. I may not want that though. So what I'm going to do is I can take an inch off of here. By taking an inch off, I've got to cut two of these out. So it's going to take off the 2 inches once I take an inch off of here. That's a lot. When in fact on here, in between the sizes, there's only like a quarter, maybe an eighth of an inch between the sizes. So instead of me doing that on this particular one, before I do that, I'm going to try it on first. And then I could always cut this down to size once it's on me. Okay. You see her? Okay, Addie. Once I get it on me, if it's hanging over more than I want to, I can cut it off, cut it back some. Okay. So let's do that. All right. So one thing I need to do also here, I want to true this up right in here. I want to go ahead and true this side seam up because it moves out a little bit, kind of goes out. Wish I had, you could see this on the top. I'm going to use my curve ruler here a little bit. Okay, here. This is a little design curve ruler that I picked up. I want to say I got this from Laree, Washington. I can't remember what Laree's school of training is, but she did this one year that she sold these design kits. Probably don't even need that because it's not that much of a curve, but there is a curve. Yeah, because this is not shaping up. It's not shaping up. It's not that much of a curve. I can just draw this in. So there was just a little teeny tiny peak right there where I slashed and spread it, or slashed and brought it up. It just poked out like a little teeny tiny little arrow there a little bit. So I just drew it straighter like it should be. As a matter of fact, I will probably end up curving this in a little bit more at the waist. I'm not sure, but that might be what happens. But I'll leave it there for now. All right. So for now, I'm going to cut out the 20 back in the front. I don't really have to do anything to the front because the front is open. I don't really have any adjustments that I usually make in the front area. Everything is always in the back. And usually I usually have to adjust the length, and I usually have to adjust the hip, the sway back part, full back. But because this is a jacket, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing those 2 or 3 adjustments. And then I may like the way it fall off the shoulders. I may leave that. I may need to make just a little bit adjustments across the shoulder. I may take a deeper seam allowance anyway, maybe a ½ inch seam allowance more across the top, or maybe cut back a ½ inch. I don't know. And usually, a lot of times I may have to lengthen the arms because you can see I have long arms. All right, so I like to add maybe a couple of inches. Sometimes I find out that I didn't need to do that, depending on the pattern company. So I like to err on more than not enough. So I probably still go in and just add. You can lengthen along this lengthen line here, but I may just do it right at the bottom. And that's all I need. Now here, the other thing I may need to make an adjustment in this area here. So depending on, this is the 20. Let me go ahead and mark this line because there's a dart right in here and that dart needs to fall at the right spot. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my seam allowance, place it on my shoulder to see if I need to make move the dart any. So I'm going to fold that back. I just measured from the size 20. Measuring on my seam. One of the other measurements I do take sometimes is a narrow shoulder measurement. Like most people, their shoulders are straight across, or some people's are straight across, but I have to do a sloping shoulder adjustment sometimes, or I'll just do a shoulder pad in it. I may even add a shoulder pad in this cardigan, but my shoulders do slope, but I like my shoulders to sit up like that, especially in my cardigans. But now since we're back in the shoulder pad era, I'll probably add like a shoulder pad in it. All right, so here, just to show you where the dart is, that's on my shoulder. So the dart is falling. Okay, that is the size 28. That's the size 20. Okay, so that's in a good place. So I'm not going to worry about where that dart is falling. That's in a good place. That's right there in my the nipple area. So it's going to fall pretty much where it should. So I'm not worried about that. All right, so now to get this cut out, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Get my fabric out. Is anybody sewing along with me? Anybody using this pattern? Because this fabric is straight down, there is a pattern in here, and this pattern can get off. So let me see if I can match this pattern up. I don't see it. It's 60 wide. I'm going to see if it's wide enough for me to cut both pieces out side by side. It's almost like a diamond shaped pattern on this fabric. I like to look up underneath and see if the pattern, if the lines are falling pretty much the same. All right, so lining up the sides. Try to see if I can cut both pieces side by side. I may not, don't know. Usually when there's a dart involved, it's almost impossible to cut two pieces side by side because that dart extends out. Actually, I'm going to cut this back to the side. I'll fold this back. That's why I had to straighten that line out. You might use this pattern for a floor length wrap dress. Oh, that would be nice. Just trying to pin back where I just had to taper it in. Now I do have a feeling that it's going to cause just a little subtle peak at the bottom. But I don't want to cut it off just yet. I can do it in the hemming process. What did I do with my tape? Okay. I don't know where my tape dispenser is. Alright, so I'm just holding this back. I think I'll be fine because of the fact that, you know what? Can somebody let me know if this pattern is still available for purchase? 8177. Can somebody look real quick? I can't look on my phone. If it is, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the sizes out. Let me know, and I am going to cut that out. I work better when I don't have to, you know what? I may still cut it out. I can and save the side pieces. That's what I'm going to do. We'll go ahead and cut it out. So this way, I don't have to keep folding and stuff, and I'll know exactly how much space I have to work with. I don't know if y'all like me. I just like to get to it. The most tedious part is truing up your pattern, making fit adjustments, tissue pattern adjustments, and stuff like that. Just to sew. But if you don't make those, just like baking, if you don't prepare correctly, then whatever you baking won't come out right. It's all in the preparing. Got to make sure your ingredients are right. Got to make sure that how you prepare it is just right. Set the right temperatures and all of that in order for what you're cooking come out just the way it's supposed to. So I just cut that piece out. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that to the side. So with that 20, I do believe I'm gonna have space enough to be able to get both pieces cut side by side. It's still available. All right. Hey, Karen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you looking. So then I don't have to keep it really. Should I keep it? I might keep it just keepsake purpose. And I'll just fold it back up in the pattern. I'll see how that works. At least I know if that don't work out, if it's too much to keep it, to try to piece it back on, I'll just throw it away and start from scratch. It's more than likely I caught this pattern. None of us really pay full price for pattern. So I probably bought this pattern when it was $1.99. Alright, y'all. Nope. I'm throwing it away. I ain't even try to keep it. Who am I fooling? That's how I normally do stuff. I'm gonna go ahead, while I'm at it, go ahead and cut the sleeve off too. I am listening to YouTube Jazz. YouTube Jazz. YouTube Jazz. So don't cut me off YouTube. I don't know who this guy is. Y'all, you know what I meant to tell y'all? While I was on the last video talking about Joann's Fabrics, I heard Jazz on Instagram, So Much Jazz, talk about how she went in to go use her benefits, her teacher's discount on her app. And it prompted her to update the app. And when she updated the app, all of that was gone. Like the Smiles rewards was gone. So I tested it for myself, and lo and behold, it's gone. So they have still like a discount program for teachers, veterans, um, home homemakers or something. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't homemakers, it was something. But I know teachers and veterans was on there. But I'm like, where's the discount for the rest of us? Where's the discount for the consumers that buy? You know, where's the reward and discount program for us, right? Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and Simplicity. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I'm thinking, where's the discount for all of us, right? So has anybody checked that out? Like I had just earned my next reward. The thing is, they don't even say, you know, hey, we're changing our discount program. Has anybody heard anything? Like I haven't heard anybody or anything say, hey, we're changing our program up. Just want y'all to be on the lookout, on the alert. Or we're switching it up. Something else is coming down the pike. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Nothing. All right, so y'all, I'll be able to get both of these pieces cut out side by side. So let me bring this up here, because this is a long pattern. I really need to be on the floor somewhere cutting this out. And the reason being, I got so much stuff on this table. All right, so remember, y'all, cut the all right, so remember, I cut the I'm gonna use the grain line on the bottom because it kind of curves out like this, the grain line at the top. But I'm gonna use the grain line at the should I use the bottom or the top? I'm gonna do the top. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. Let me see if I can choose the grain line up. Everything is catching. There we go. All right, just had to chew that grain line up so I can know what I'm working with. Just a little bit. This is gonna be pretty once I get this all cut out. Move this over here. All right, that way I can lay that flat so I can cut that out. Still need you though. All right. Anybody sewing right now? And if you sewing this pattern, let me know what adjustments you normally have to make on your pattern pieces in order for it to fit right. All right, hang on. Make sure my pattern is straight. Start cutting from the bottom. But remember where I trued up that seam allowance at the side seam so I can make sure that it's straight. No more inches to the seams. You sewing KM, what's KM? Oh, know me, duh, know me. Know me 2007. Who's the creator of that one? I probably know it more by the creator, unless it's a new one. I've got several know me patterns, but I don't have them all. Like some people have bought all the know me patterns. I don't have them all because I didn't like them all. I only bought what I like. There were a lot of good patterns. I think my scissors. I think there's like a little spur or something at this tip of my scissors because they're always pushing my fabric. All right, so I did make a vent. There's a pocket in here. I haven't decided if I want to do the pocket. I may do a side pocket. I don't think I'm gonna do the flap because this is a knit and it's a lot. That flap will get lost in there. You won't even really see it on there, and it's not gonna mean anything. I'll probably use my side pockets more than I would the flaps in the front, so I'm not gonna even do those. But I am going to do the side seam. I'm going to make sure I cut my notches for my arm side. And I'm going to cut my placement points in the back. All right, I'm not going to even do the notch back there for the back facing, because I'm not going to do a back facing. I think I'm just going to do a bias bind and then stitch it down. All right, so that's that. That's the back piece. All right. Who else? Kichi B. All right, which one is that one? I made one of her dresses. I made the wrap dress from Kichi B. Put you over here on the side so I have more room up here. So that did good on the fabric. So whatever this width was, I didn't even calculate the width. None of the adjustments I made on the back affected the front because I tapered back to the side seam. Like I said, normally for me, I normally don't have to make back front adjustments. Not on something like this. Put that aside for sleeves and facings maybe. I have to show you the pattern that I just used to make this for a lady. It was out of a purple that I actually got from, I'm glad that worked out. That was right on the edge. Now I always talk about making sure your fabric meets up underneath. The piece underneath was a little bit shorter than the piece on the top, so I almost messed up though. Have to be very careful about that. But I bought a purple fabric that I was going to use for myself, but sometimes my clients will come over and they'll see something that they like and will buy it. So this was some, I just made a cardigan, the same, I used this block, this pattern as a block to create a cardigan out of this fabric for a lady. And I made her pencil skirt to match. And it came out really pretty. So can't wait to show you guys that. And another one of my fabrics she loves purple. This maid of honor's infallible routine stays fresh through I do. Looking for foundation, concealer, setting mist, or was it all three? We may never know. The L'Oreal Paris infallible routine. Get infallible. Might be able to cut. No, we'll see. All right, let me go ahead and cut the. These for the pockets. Okay. I'll cut this notches for the darts. I'm gonna go ahead and pin this down here. I'll bring this down so you all can see. You can't see it from up there. So I can show you one thing. Only thing I have left to do is the sleeve. Alright, so right here I marked the darts and everything, but I just need to mark where the end of the dart is. So I'm putting a pin right there between two layers where that little dot is. I'm going to go ahead and mark it. And this is going to be good because the back of this fabric is black, so I'll be able to see it really good. So just mark it really good. Now if you wanted to, one of the rules, one of the suggestions that gentleman Jim gave me or gave us when we did our classes in 2019 or 2018 here when we did our first retreat. One of the suggestions that he made is that when you do your darts, only draw one side. Usually I'll just kind of make them meet, There's no guarantee that you always get that right by doing it like that. But he said if you want to make sure it's right, draw the center. So where that peak is into the dart, draw a line from there to the dart. So that's your center line. And then he says draw one side of one leg of the dart, not both legs. So this way you'll fold the dart on the fold line, the center line, and then you'll stitch along the one leg. That way you know you got it right. So it looks like this. So this is the second line right here, but that's the center, and that's the one line. So I would fold it along the center line. So that way I know I have the dart laid out right. Okay. Then I would sew along that leg right there, so that way I know that that dart is right, it's straight, it's not twisted. So I thought that was a clever way to do it. So ever since I've been doing it, usually I try to fudge it and make sure, you know, try to guesstimate the evenness of the dart, but that's a good way to do it. So I'll go in, that's the front part. I still have the band to do and the sleeve. So I measured one dart, but I didn't do the other. Let's go ahead while I have it out. All right. Now both darts are marked. A dress with a zippered front and rib knit. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Oh, that's a cute dress. Oh, I can't wait to see that one. I don't have that pattern, but that is a cute dress. I like that. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get that sleeve cut. I am going to cut a little bit longer. Now, I might even cut it a little bit longer than normal, because I could always like roll the sleeve up and have a big cuff at the bottom. I might just do that. Instead of tapering the sleeve out, I might just cut it as a straight sleeve. I think I am going to go with the sleeve, the same fabric in the sleeve. I think I might just reserve that piece of fabric, you know. I know I seem like I was so sure, and I do like different. Don't get me wrong, I do love different. Should I? I think I don't want that sleeve too wide. Let's see how wide is it going to be on there. Well, that's a narrow taper sleeve, isn't it? I think I might. Do I want it tapered? Let's see how it looks on her. I want the sleeve too tapered. I think I might want it a little bit straighter. I could always go back in and straighten it out. I think I might do 4 extra inches on the sleeve. That'll give me room, maybe a little bit of room to roll it up if I want to. I think I'm going to add probably about I'm going to do 1.5 inches on each side, add 1.5 inches. Yeah, I'm gonna use this right here. It's a marker, but we're gonna cut through that. All right, that's for each sleeve, and then I'm gonna cut 4 inches longer than the pattern. Is it gonna allow me? Do I have it placed? Just right at 4 inches. And the reason why I'm doing 4 inches, like I said, is give me enough to fold under if I want to. I place it right at about 4 inches, just enough to give me 4 inches. I almost didn't have enough, y'all. Okay. So you all can kind of see. All right. Cut along this green line here, just a little bit off the bottom. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and clip my notches from my back and front arm side. Clip my match up points. Clip my center, my shoulder seam. Alright. Did I miss your comment, Wanda? Alright, so if I want to fold that up like that, I can. See that? And it's still, I have enough width right there, because before it was going to be tight like that. That probably worked, but I do want a little bit of room to get that folded up. So if I sew the 5/8 inch seam allowance, that'll give me exactly what I'm looking for. So that's good. All right. So the sleeve is cut out. Everything is cut out except for I need to do the facing. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do the faces? Now I might have enough to do me a fanny pack out of this. Might. Don't know yet. We'll see. But I am going to do face. Let me see what this facing look like. No, I'm going to do, you'll see how I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to sew this together at the front, let's see, what's the front? One of these edges is the front, not sure which one. But I'm going to sew whatever the front piece is, I'm going to sew it, stitch it together along the front, and then I'm going to sew it onto the jacket on whatever edge it is. And then do a stitching line, stitch it down. So I need to cut 4 of those, actually. I cut 4 of those. It'll create its own facing. I'm not going to use the facing that is called for.
Meet the joy of going fully electric. Meet Rivian.
Fuel your dog's best life every day with nature's recipe. Business. It's all day and into the night.
Okay.
And it's why all the businesses that keep this world turning.
It's a lot of thickness to cut through. But I got this. I have a pair of thick scissors, but I think they need to be sharpened. I actually won those scissors with one of Mimi G's conferences. I didn't attend the conference, but I was on her, I think it was a Mimi Darling page or something she was on. And she gave an opportunity to those that didn't make the conference to be able to win a swag bag. And within that swag bag, there was some swatches. There was 2 pairs of scissors that Fiskars donated. And it was a large pair of thick cutting scissors and a short pair of thick cutting scissors. And I won one of those swag bags. And it came with some other stuff too. I think some thread and some other things. It was a good goodie bag. This is where I need that real good rotary cutter. Having to cut either the rotary cutter or one of those electric scissors that cut through all thick fabrics. I don't use those either. Haven't. All right, let's see. Now this fell off. I thought I had cut my cord, my tape measure. All right, so let's see if I can cut through all this thickness of fabric. Maybe not. All right. So this does call for interfacing, so I need to cut 2 pieces of interfacing out of this to make sure that's stabilized here. All right, and then the bias binding. Let me see, how big is this fabric? I just need a 20-inch. If this is enough fabric to do one of the bags out of, I may not use this fabric. I need to have at least 20 inches. It don't say how wide, but that's enough to get both pieces out because I only need to cut one of each. And then the other lining. So what do y'all think? If I carry a fanny pack. Think I need a matching fanny pack? Or I need to use that for something else? That was a beautiful piece of purple fabric. Oh, thank you. Should I just do a solid black? Or do I might not have a solid black. That needs to be like a leather or something. Oh, wait. Let's see. Did I do... Oh, I did the goldish color out of this. What do you think? It needs to be black. This is not black. It's like a brown piece. Y'all think I could work with this for a fanny pack? I'll leave this piece. So I got the main things cut out. I can use this piece right here to cut out a bias binding for the neckline, because the neckline is not so big. Even because this is a stretch, I can use this to create a binding. I just need to curve just a little bit to make it to stretch. But I think this will be big enough to do what I need to do. Even if I cut it in two pieces, I can use this piece to create a bias. I mean, not a bias binder, but a trim around the neckline. That way I don't have to use an unnecessary amount of fabric to get what I need to get done. So I'll set this aside for that. I'll set this aside for possibly a fanny pack. I'll set this aside for possible straps for the fanny pack, and this for the neckline. I need to do one other thing. This is extra or something. Actually, I'll make me a little knit cap. Hey, a little skull cap. I'll keep that to the side, depending on what I do with that. Yeah, all right, babe. To turn it down a little bit. All right, let me. Gotta get to my interfacing. All right, so once I get my interfacing cut, y'all, then that'll be it. Then I can get to sewing. All right, where's the piece? This is gonna be quick to cut out because I don't need to cut out the one side. Okay. Oops. That's the part right there. There we go. All right. So yeah, there it is. All of my stuff is cut out. I'll fuse that all in, and then I'll get to sewing a little bit later. All right, so y'all let me know in the comments what other things that you would like for me to talk about while we are actually sewing, during these times of sewing. So I'm gonna get in here and I'll try to figure out, see what time is it. Okay, yeah, figure out what we're gonna do for dinner. Might not cook tonight. I think I might just order something in. But I do have some ideas for I have a list of running challenges going, so I hope y'all stay tuned for that. I will say this, I believe 100%, 98% sure that our challenge for next month will be titled Black to Red. Play on back to red, back to whatever, black to red. And so because we are in the month of February, we're celebrating Black History Month, but we're also celebrating the month of love. So black to red will be a play on all of that to capture all of that. So we'll have some fun things to do. And I still want to focus on sewing from our stash. So there'll be projects or call outs to make projects using those colors, black and red, throughout the month of February, just to pay homage to those two things, Black History and the month of love. So be thinking about what projects you want to do. Be thinking about what fabrics you want to do. This is the first time I put this out there. So um, I haven't made an official announcement about what we're doing in February because we're still trying to get through January, right? So, but be thinking about what it is that you want to do in the month of February, how you want to incorporate those colors, black and red. All right. Well, I'll come back in a little bit later. I'm going to take a break right now, give you all a break, and I'll let you know. I'll come back in so we can do some sewing, and I'll go ahead and get this sewn up. And that'll be another piece that'll be my piece for contribution to set-in sleeves for this month. All right. And plus, this will give me an opportunity to show you what I meant about sewing with knit, how to sew set-in sleeves using knit fabric. We did the this red jacket here, you know, in my last video, the stable knit fabric with this red jacket. And I showed you how to sew in set-in sleeve using this woven fabric. So I'll put this aside because we're going to finish that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, join me again a little bit later on so we can get into more set-in sleeves. All right, I love y'all to life. Y'all have a great evening. Talk to you later.